Hello, my lovely viewers. Welcome again to Mathematics and I. Is your presenter Jefferson, and today we are still on the topic quadratic equations, but we are going to be looking at using another method to solving quadratic equation questions. Now, in our previous videos, we looked at using formula method in solving quadratic equation, and also how we can solve quadratic equations when the roots are given. So today we shall continue from the methods for solving quadratic equations, which are the formula method, the completing the square method, the factorization method, and as well the graphical method. So today we are going to be looking at the factorization method. How do you use factorization method to solve quadratic equation problems? Okay, from the word factorize, you see you have factor in it. What is the meaning of factor? A factor is a number that can divide any other number exactly without a remainder. So what does that mean? It means 3 is a factor of 9, because when 3 divides 9, there is no remainder. 4 is a factor of 16, because when 4 divides 16, there is no remainder. So how do we apply factorization method in solving quadratic equation problems? We are going to be looking at 2 questions, and after this we are done with the end of the class. So the first question we are going to be looking at is if we have something like this, 9x raised to the power of 2 plus 6x plus 1 equal to 0, and then we are told to find the values of x. Now, without wasting time, we know that this is a quadratic equation because the highest power is 2. Now, what do we do? Remember in our last video, I gave you the general formula which says ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now, in this case, you will notice that our a is 9, our b is 6, and our c is 1. Now, what do we do and how do you factorize? It is very simple. Now, the number, the value of a, you use to multiply the value of c. Now, the value of a is 9. The value of c is 1. So, if we multiply 9 by 1, we are going to get 9. Now, what does that mean? It means we are going to look for 2 numbers that when we multiply, we will get the value of 9, and when we add, we will get the value of b, which is 6. So what does that mean? It means you multiply to get your c, and you add to get your b. Simple as that. So now let us see what we can do. Now, in this question, if I use 9 to multiply 1, I will get 9. Now let us think. What are the 2 numbers we can multiply together to get 9, which is our c, and then we will add these 2 numbers together and we get b, which is 6. Now, some students find it difficult in thinking of these 2 numbers, but I can give you a way you can think of getting these 2 numbers. Just look for the factors of 9. The factors of 9. Now, if we want to look for the factors of 9, I think the first factor of 9 is 1. Now, let us go. Now, if I have 1, it means how many times will 1 go into 9? 9 times. So it means I have 1 and 9. But if we multiply 1 and 9, 1 times 9, it will give us 9. But if we add 1 plus 9, it will give us 10, which is not our b, because the value of our b is 6. So what does that mean? It means these 2 numbers are wrong. Now, what do you do next? You go to the next factor of 9. Now, 2 is not a factor of 9 because when 2 divides 9, there's a remainder of 1. So the next factor of 9 is 3. Now, let us go. If I have 3, how many times will 3 divide 9? It will give us 3 times. Now, automatically, what does that mean? 3 is also a factor of 9. Now, let us multiply if we are going to get 9, and let us add if we are going to get 6. Now, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. Now, what does that mean? It means that the 2 numbers that we shall be using in this math is 3 and 3. Because why? When we multiply 3 together, we got 9. And when we added 3 together, we got 6, which is our b. Okay, let us proceed with the maths. Now remember, the two values we are using is 3 and 3. Now, what do we use these two values for? You use and replace the middle number. You use and replace your b. Now, if I'm rewriting this question again, I'm going to get something like this. 9x squared. Now, instead of me writing plus 6x, no, I will introduce the two numbers that I've gotten, which is plus 3x and plus 3x. Remember, the two numbers we got was 3 and 3. Okay, now plus 1 equal to 0. Are you getting it? It means what only change in this question is the middle number, because we have substituted the two values we got for the b. Now, if you have gotten something like this, what do you do next? Check these first two parts. You will notice that they have something in common. Now, what do they have in common? They have 3 and then they have x. Why do they have 3 in common? Because 3 can divide 9 without a remainder, and 3 can also divide 3 without a remainder. So I'll bring the 3's that they have in common, and also they have x in common. I'll bring the x out. Now, I open the brackets. If 3 go into 9, if 3 divide 9, I will get 3. If x divide x squared, I will get x plus. Now, when 3x divide 3x, I will get 1. Then I'm done with that. Then I go to the next part. What sign do I have here? Plus. I'll bring it out. Now, I have 3x here and then I have 1 here. But actually, there's nothing in common, but there's something in common. What is when you see that nothing can cancel out, something can actually cancel out. And what is that thing? 1. So when nothing is in common, 1 is in common. So I bring out the 1 that I have in common, and then I open my bracket. 1 into 3x will still give me 3x plus 1 into 1 will still give me 1 equals to 0. Okay, now what do we do next? This one outside the brackets, 3x plus 1. I bring it out. 3x plus 1 equates to 0. Or, now pick one of the expressions in the bracket because they are the same. 3x plus 1, 3x plus 1. Now mind you, whenever you factorize these plates, when your brackets are different, there's something is wrong. Your bracket must be the same. Now, when I pick one of these brackets, I still have 3x plus 1, and then I also equate to 0. Now, what do we do here? We collect like terms. Now, when plus 1 crosses to meet 0, it becomes minus 1. Then what do we have left here? 3x is equal to 0 minus 1, or also the same thing happens here. 3x is equal to 0 minus 1. Now, 0 minus 1 will give us minus 1. Here becomes 3x is equal to minus 1, or 3x is also equal to minus 1. Now, if we are looking for the value of x, what do? We divide both sides by the coefficient of x, or by the number that is making x not to stand alone. Now, if here becomes over 3, and here also becomes over 3, same thing here, here becomes over 3, here also becomes over 3. Now, when 3 cancel out 3, what do I have now? X becomes minus 1 over 3, or 3 also cancel 3. X becomes minus 1 over 3. Now what does that mean? X is equal to minus 1 over 3, or minus 1 over 3. This is the answer. Now remember we said that every answer we get in a quadratic equation, they are called the roots of the equation. Now this is exactly how you can apply factorization method in solving quadratic equation. Now, like we said from the beginning of the class, we are going to be using two examples. Now, this is one of the examples that we are going to be using. Now, without wasting time, let us go to the second example. Okay. Alright, now let's think of another example. Number 2. Now let us imagine we have something like this, okay? 6x squared, okay? Let's see, 6x squared minus 10x, okay? Minus 10x, and then we have 6, 12, 18, 24, okay? Plus 4 equal to 0. Let us see this type of question now. 6x squared minus 10x plus 4 equals to 0. Now, following the order, my A here is 6, my B is minus 10, and my C is 4. Now, remember what we said that in example 1, that you use the number, the value of A to multiply the value of C. Now, 6 times 4 will give us 24. Now, what does that mean? We are going to multiply to get 24, and we are going to add to get minus 10. Now, how do you get these two numbers? I told you, the factors. The factors. Now, let us begin. What is the first factor of 21? It is 1 and 24. The first factor is 1. So if my first factor is 1, how many times will 1 go into 24? It will give me 24 times. Now, let us times if we are going to get 24, and let us add if we are going to get minus 10. Now, first of all, listen up. What we are adding to get is minus 10. Now, for us to be able to get minus 10, something is going to happen here. Now, first of all, we all know that 1 times 24 is 24. But we also know that there is no way we can work with 1 and 24 to give us minus 10. There is no way. There is no relationship there. It is too, the values are so great that we can't get minus 10 from it. So there is no need for us to work with 1 and 24. Now, what do we do next? We go to the next factor of 24, which is 2. Now, let us bring it out. 2. Now, how many times will 2 go into 24? It will give us 12. Now, yes, 2 times 12 will give us 2 times 12 will give us 24. But what are we adding to get? Remember, what are we adding to get? We are adding to get minus 10. Now, watch. I want to show you something now. There is a way we can work with 2 and 12 to give us minus 10. Yes, it is correct. For example, if 12 becomes negative and 2 becomes positive, when you add, you are going to get minus 10. But when you multiply 2 times minus 12, you will never get, remember, it is a positive what? 24. But 2 times minus 12 will give us minus 24. So, although if you add or if you work 2 minus 12, you are going to get minus 10. But when you multiply, it will not give you 24. What is it going to give us? Minus 24. So what does that mean? We are not going to use 2 and minus 12. Now, let us go to the next factor of 24. I think the next factor of 24 is 3. Now, let us see. 3. Now, how many times will 3 go into 24? 8 times. So it means we have 3 and 8. Now, there is no way we can work with 3, although 3 times 8 is 24. But there is no way we can add 3 and 8 together to give us minus 10. There is no way. So we will leave 3 and 8 and we'll go to the next factor of 24, which is 4 class. Now, how many times will 4 go into 24? It will give us 6 times. Now, what does that mean, class? There is a way, yes, 4 times 6 is 24. But we are adding to get minus 10. Now, look up. Let 4 carry a negative sign. Let 6 carry a negative sign. Now, let us times. Minus 4 times minus 6. Minus times minus will give us plus. 4 times 6 will give us 24. Exactly what we are looking for, 24. Okay, now, let us add if we are going to get minus 10. Minus 4 plus minus 6. Now, plus times minus will give us minus. So what do? We have minus 4 minus 6. Now, minus 4 shows you are owing 4. Minus 6 shows you are owing 6. Now, how much are you owing together? Minus 10. Automatically, what are the two numbers we are using? Minus 4 and minus 6. Now, if we are using minus 4 and minus 6 to replace the b, which is minus 10x, what do we do? Now, let the math begin. It means rewriting this question now, we are going to get something like this. 6x squared. Now, instead of me writing minus 10x, what will I write? Minus 4x minus 6x, then followed by what? Plus 4 equal to 0. Yes, I told you, it is only the b that you substitute these two values for. Your a and your c remains the same. And you no longer use 24 anymore. You only make use of this 24 when you are looking for these two values. That is all. Now, what do these guys here have in common? They have 2 and they have x. Now bring it out, 2x. Open your bracket. Now when 2 divides 6, you get 3. When x divides x squared, you get x. Now what sign do I have here? Minus. Now this is my minus. Now when 2 divides 4, you get 2. When x divides x, there is no more x. So what do we have? 3x minus 2. Now let's go to the next part. What sign do I have here? Minus. I'll bring my minus out. Now, what do they have in common here? They have just 2 in common because there's no x there. Now, when you bring out the 2 that they have in common and then you open a bracket, if 2 cancels 6x, I will get 3x. Now, it is wrong for you to put plus here because why? Minus times plus will give us minus and not plus. So you have put minus. Now, how many times will 2 divide 4? 2 times equal to 0. Now, I said again, when your bracket is not the same, something has gone wrong. Your bracket must be the same. Now, what do we do next class? The one outside the bracket, 2x minus 2, bring it out. 2x minus 2 equates to 0, or the one, since they are the same, just pick one of them up. So here it becomes 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. What do we do now? We collect like terms, we collect like terms. Now, when minus 2 crosses, it becomes plus 2. Here we have 2x is equal to 0 plus 2, or 3x is equal to 0 plus 2. Now, without wasting time, 0 plus 2 will give us 2. Now, here becomes 2x is equal to 2, or 3x is equal to 2. Now, what do we do to get x? Or what do we do to make x the subject of the formula? We divide both sides by 2, and here what do? We divide both sides by 3. Now, class, when 2 cancels 2, what do I have here? X. Class, 2 divided by 2 will give us 1. Or x equal to, when 3 cancel 3, what do I have left here? X. Now, class, nothing can cancel 2 and 3. So here remains 2 over 3. So therefore, x is equal to 1 or 2 over 3. Factorization method. Factorization method. Now, class, I believe you have been able to learn something new today. How you can now apply factorization method in solving quadratic equation problems. Now, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get more updates from our new videos. And also, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to share. Because the more we share, the more people that are needing this will get to meet it. Till we meet again in our next class, my name remains Jefferson. Thank you.